Hola, chica. So if you don't know me, I'm Justy Renson. I also call myself the Freedom Facilitator and the Heroine's Journey Mentress or Mentor, if you like. Love to help other women to actualize their dreams and visions into reality and to really be living in your authentic self and your authentic life as opposed to all those other options. So that's what I feel I'm doing right now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm living in Guatemala. This is Lake Atitlan. The village is called San Marcos, and it's known for being kind of a spiritual seekers, yogi, hippie kind of a village. There's a lot of kirtan and ecstatic dancing, drum circles, um, voice activations, mushrooms, all kinds of things like that. Most of it I'm not doing. I've been in my own kind of almost like a private retreat since I've been here in December. And through that, it's actually been really healing for me. I had a skin rash when I came here that I had picked up in Puerto Viejo. It was actually a chronic skin rash that I really inherited from my father, but it kept on going. It sprouted up again in Puerto Viejo in Costa Rica, and then it wouldn't go away. So I decided, let me try another place, and this climate has been clear and dry, blue sky after blue sky, and somehow has just really healed my skin. So I feel fantastic. And I'm ready to move on. So, what did I conjure, and how did I conjure it? I realized I really wanted to go back to England, where I was last living for a few months in 2017 and really enjoyed it. Mostly in London, actually. A little bit in the Midlands and a little bit in the south of England, but mostly London, which is the south of England. And and I want to go back. Part of the reason I think is because it's in my roots, it's in my blood, it's in my core. My maternal grandparents were British, and my mom, passed on to me a lot of British culture and kind of made me a bit of an Anglophile. My parents took me on a beautiful journey through southern England when I was 16 years old, and I fell in love with certain places like Cornwall and Devon and Wiltshire, the Cotswolds, Sussex, where my grandmother grew up, the White Cliffs, all of this. And it was a privilege to have that trip, honestly. And it was a bit of a spiritual seeking for them because they took us to Avebury, which is an ancient stone circle, and they took us to the Notting Stone, which is also called the Logan Rock, at the tip of Cornwall, and Stonehenge, some different like spiritual places like that were important to them. And I caught the bug of it really. And now I'm no longer even in the religion where they taught us about those things, but I still am drawn to those ancient places. And I'm definitely drawn to Celtic spirituality, Celtic shamanism, and I want to find a stone circle to give my next retreat at. So I've got all kinds of things weaving in there. Also recently started reading a historical novel about northern England, the countryside, and it just brought it all back to me of how much this is in my blood, and I want to go back there. Now, when I left San Francisco, I was determined to be in hot weather, no more cold weather, but somehow I'm not so worried about cold weather anymore. If I need to get a jacket or boots or a hat, I'll get it. Just following my heart and my soul. Now, I am going to be in the UK from March 25th until September 25th. 6 months is the visa that I can get as a US citizen, which is to me very generous. 6 months to explore and live there, no questions asked, or at least not the first time. So I'm going to be there mostly during the warm weather, spring, summer, and the very beginning of fall, the first 4 days of autumn. So it's not going to be so freezing. The other thing is Scotland. I've never been to Scotland, and yet since I was a girl, I've had a longing to go there. I was thinking back, and I remember I learned Scottish ballads from a record that my mom somehow got a hold of, ancient songs. And I still remember some of them. I was really into like medieval music when I was 15. I used to geek out on medieval songs. That's who I was. Never forgot that. And then I learned Scottish country dancing. I got the bug for that when I was about 20. I had the black ghillie slippers. I learned the movements. In Scottish country dancing, you have to learn the movements. You can't just fake it like American square dancing. So that was great. And then, kind of forgot about that. And then I read Braveheart. No, I didn't read it. I saw Braveheart about Sir William Wallace, who fought for Scotland's freedom in around the 1200s. And that book really lit me on fire. That lit me on fire to not only get myself to Scotland somehow, but also to follow my dreams. Some of you have heard me say, your heart is free, have the courage to follow it. And that was a quote that William Wallace's father said to him when he was a boy. Your heart is free, have the courage to follow it. And sometimes it really does take courage, because you have to blow up your current life if you are really going to follow your heart. And I actually did that about 6 years after I saw that movie and copied down that quote. So why am I talking about all this? I am talking about following my heart, following my soul, following what comes through in meditation, following what comes through in those quiet moments. And it was in meditation that I got that I'm going to Scotland in July, whether I get house sits there or not, because I had already booked quite a few house sits in England for April, May, June, August, September, but none in July yet. And I suddenly realized while I was in this breathwork journey with my friend Annie, who facilitated me, that wow, I am going to Scotland, house sit or no house sit, for the month of July. It's time. It's time. Life is short. What am I waiting for? If not now, when? I'm going to be over there. All I have to do is hop on a bus and I'm in Scotland, or take a ferry, or take a ferry or a plane. You can catch an inexpensive flight from Aberdeen to the Shetland Islands, where, by the way, I have applied for a house sit today. So I'm sharing with you the latest in my adventures, not just to brag to you about what I'm doing, and we'll see how it all turns out, but I want to light a fire under you. What is your vision right now? I was speaking with one of my women today, and she has experienced quite a bit of frustration and stress around her life in the United States, corporate, being a mom, going to graduate school, health issues, etc., stress related. So I challenged her to start a new journal for her visions. In my vision, I am ... and or her desires. I desire ... And I challenged her to set her timer for 5 minutes. If she can do 10 minutes, so much the better. I do this. This is part of my practice. And just free writing, like the morning pages, just writing, and see what comes out. Some of it she already knows, but there are going to be a few other things that are going to unfurl. The longer we write, the more will come out. And then we look at it. We'll see what happens after she writes. And then we look at it and we see, is any of this real? Like, do I want this to be real? I also really do love deep meditations where we have a chance to set all those things aside, just lie down, listen, receive, feel. Some meditations, I go so deep, I don't even know what happened. But some meditations, something pops in, like what I just told you about you're going to Scotland. And that can take all of those visions and ideas and desires and crystallize them into this one brilliant knowing. So I challenge you to do that. And let me know what comes through. What is your brilliant knowing? Where are you meant to be? What are you meant to be doing? If not now, when? Have an awesome day. And I also do want to say, if you enjoyed this video, please do like, please do subscribe, please do share it with someone. And if you would like to do a 1-hour Heroine's Journey mentoring session with me, we can unpack some of where you are in your heroine's journey and some of what's coming through for what's next and some of how that could actually come to pass. Let's do it. It is so fun and it can be life-changing. Ciao, Bella.